Week 6 injury impact by order of importance. Let's get after it. Dalvin Cook, obviously the first one. Alexander Madison at home against the Falcons' putrid defense. Even in a game that Dalvin Cook touched the ball a ton before he got hurt, Madison still, I believe, saw over 20 opportunities. You can see the specifics in my cash and GPP write-ups. Madison's a fantastic play. And then we've got Deontay Johnson out. That sucks. I like Deontay a lot too. That puts Chase Claypool right back on the map. There are going to be people chasing last week's performance, which, there's nothing wrong with chasing a 4-touchdown game. If he has half as good of a game and scores 2 touchdowns, he's still a tournament winner. So nothing wrong with that, but Juju Smith-Schuster, the stud, that boy that, not as many people are thinking about, right back in play. James Washington has deep threat potential. Eric Ebron is an interesting tight end tournament play. Carlton Davis, the Bucs cornerback, is questionable. Even if he plays at less than 100%, or if he doesn't play, this makes me even more bullish on Davante Adams, who I already was. Players coming back from injury are always lower owned than they should be due to recency bias. Davante Adams, my wide receiver 1 coming into the season, got off to a fantastic start, sat out long enough to where he should be 100% healthy. I don't need to see it to believe it. I know what Davante Adams is with Aaron Rodgers. We know Allen Lazard is out. We know MVS can't cut it. Tanyan's a beast, but other than that, in a game where they're going to need Davante Adams in the passing game, their running game probably won't be utilized as smoothly against Tampa Bay. Adams should absolutely eat. Jordan Wilkins for the Colts is questionable. Now, this might not sound like big news to you. He hasn't been playing a ton, but he's been playing enough to take that ceiling away from Jonathan Taylor. If he doesn't play, and he did not practice on Thursday or Friday, you add to the fact that Cincinnati's D lineman DJ Reader, who is a solid free agent acquisition for them, I believe, from the Texans, is now on injured reserve. This is a game where Jonathan Taylor could show that ceiling. Obviously, he's still sharing some time with Nyheim Hines, which isn't, all that encouraging, but it's a game where the Colts defense has been so solid. They should be able to have somebody do enough to be a part of a tournament winning team. That could be Jonathan Taylor. It also could be one of the tight ends. Mo Alley Cox isn't going to play. Jack Doyle's been playing a ton, but they haven't been throwing him the ball. Frank Wright, coming from Philly, Trey Burton was a part, I believe he threw the Philly special touchdown in the Super Bowl. He comes back from injury these last 2 weeks, playing over 50% of the snaps, has seen 11 targets total over the last 2 weeks. So Trey Burton coming out of nowhere, because let's remember, Paris Campbell and Michael Pittman, both young, exciting receivers for the Colts, are out. So not only does that put Trey Burton on the GPP map, but we cannot forget about T.Y. Hilton and to a lesser extent Zach Pascal. T.Y. Hilton saw 10 targets last week. He's going to remind us that he's T.Y. Hilton sooner rather than later and catch a 40-plus yard touchdown. My money is on it being this week. A couple more for you. A big one. DJ Chark is questionable. If he plays, whatever. But if he doesn't play, and this is one of those why you definitely want to pay attention to injuries the morning of. If he doesn't play, I already talked about in my big picture video that the Lions at Jags game is my favorite fantasy game of the week. And I think Matt Stafford goes off in this spot. I think he wins people tournaments. I'm hoping it's me. I'm hoping it's you. If that's the case, this is a perfect game to game stack because Desmond Trufant is out again for the Lions. So their secondary, already bad, is even worse. And if Gardner Minshew has to play catch up, or if this becomes a shootout, somebody for the Jags should pop off. And if it's not Chark because he's out, we have to remember that Laviska Shenault, really exciting rookie, is starting to be utilized more as a receiver. But also Keelan Cole, who had fallen out of favor in Jacksonville and all of a sudden is right back in favor. I've always believed, I think a lot of people out there have always believed he's a talented player, some incredible catches over the years. He's getting playing time and he's delivering. So Keelan Cole skyrockets if Laviska Shenault's not out, if DJ Chark is out. And in addition to that, Tyler Eifert is questionable, I think with like a neck injury, so he could not play. If he misses, James O'Shaughnessy, who started out 2019 really well before he tore his ACL, he's probably going to be the full-time tight end, and he becomes that, pump play on the tight end radar as well. And then I believe the last main one I want to talk about here, Darius Slayton is questionable. We already know that Sterling Shepard is out. Saquon Barkley is out. It's a good spot at home against Washington. Pay attention. It sounds like Shepard's going to play, but if he doesn't, they don't have a ton of weapons. I mean, Evan Ingram's not being utilized properly, but he still offers that upside as a player. Golden Tate is out there. etc. I mean, that's pretty much it. Melvin Gordon's not going to play. That obviously increases Philip Lindsay, who's coming back from injury. That increases his volume. And he shouldn't be that chalky because he's missed time, recency bias. They're playing the Patriots. People won't want to play Broncos. Like, trust me, I'm a Broncos fan, and I get that. So Philip Lindsay on the tournament radar and even on the cash radar because of his affordability. Leonard Fournette is questionable. If he sits, another one you want to pay attention to the morning of, then Ronald Jones once again becomes much more interesting because it's all about volume and he's been getting it. And then Noah Fant's out. We already know Cortland Sutton's already out, so they have to throw to somebody in a game that, Drew Lock coming back. It sounds like he's going to play. He's questionable, but he's practiced. It's just, there's no probable anymore. Who's Drew Lock going to have to throw to? Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, and then to a certain extent, KJ Hamler. Like, those are the guys. So Tim Patrick, who's constantly underrated, Jerry Jeudy, who, still you can make an argument could still be the dynasty asset one overall in this class. It's an argument to be made. CeeDee Lamb's going off, and we've got running backs and stuff like that. But it's very early in Judy's career. He looked great on Thursday Night Football. I think the last time they played because Broncos couldn't play last week because of COVID. So Judy's in play as well. And those are my overall main big picture injuries to pay attention to before locking in lineups this week. Hope everybody has a good week 6 and stays healthy.